What you want? You're doomed to stay. Go, 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 go.
All right. You ready, Terry Lee?
I are.
All right. We want to welcome everybody to our show tonight. This is TIpa Online. I'm your host, Josh.
I'm Terry Lee.
And we have
Kevin
here with us. Thanks for joining us, Kevin. And Zach Waters, he's way back in the other room. So I think he's a little afraid of us right now, so you never know. Hey, I want to start off the show once again like I do every time. I want to thank all the listeners for tuning in, giving us the support, and continuing to push us to get a little bit better at what we're doing. So thank you all, you guys. And I want to introduce, we got a new group with us tonight, first time on the show, so they're a little unsure of how everything works, but we're going to put them on the spot tonight. So tonight we have the Paranormal Analysis League. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
All right, let's start off with having you guys kind of each give us your name. And do you guys have titles for your team, or are you just all kind of like the collective?
We have secret titles that we call each other.
Okay, this isn't PG-13, so you can let it out. Just make sure you kind of get the mic close to your face and just give us your names.
When we started this a couple of years ago, we all came through this, but when we were starting to... They're schooling me on the microphone. When we decided to have a business card, we came together and thought we need a name. And so when it came right down to whose number was going to be on the card, well, it was mine, because I'm the least busy of all these ladies who are professional women and teacher and healthcare worker and teacher and, So I got the job of league manager.
There you go. Can't go wrong.
Okay, so it's just been fun.
Okay.
And it's these ladies are great to work with.
That's wonderful. What's each of your names?
My name is Roberta Lopez.
Marion.
Liz. Megan.
All right, and I heard 2 teachers and a healthcare professional.
I'm actually a writer.
A writer for
a writer?
Sorry.
For a healthcare company.
There we go.
Oh,
cool.
okay.
It's less fancy than what she made it sound.
Hey, a writer has to be creative.
We do.
That's what I'm saying. So, well, that's really cool. Okay, so tell us a little bit. How long have you guys been together?
We've been together about 2 years.
About 2 years, and how'd you meet?
Well, Marion is my sister, so we've known each other for a little while.
All right. Just a little while. You just met, right?
Yeah. And Megan is my future daughter-in-law. She's marrying my son in December. So.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then Liz is Megan's friend, so we've kind of all got together that way. I worked up at the University of Utah. I was the director of distance education, and continuing ed had this class going on that was, a paranormal investigating class, and I saw that on the early drafts of the courses, and I thought, oh, that is cool. I'm going to take that. Well, I didn't tell anybody for a long time, and there was only me enrolled for the class.
Right.
Like a month before, and I'm going, well, I better find some people. So I told Marion, I have to find some people.
You're
and
going.
She said,
You're going.
No. She said, well, what about me? And I went, oh, you would like that? and so I did the same thing to Megan, and Megan said, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
And then she got Liz to come. And then Liz got her brother Chris to come. So
it just kind of grows from there,
it
huh?
grew, and then we had, about 5 more people in the class, and Kevin Erickson from Logan taught the class, and it was fabulous.
So was it more toward technical?
Absolutely technical.
Okay.
Yeah, it was go in, as a skeptic and see what you have. Don't expect to have any evidence. Don't hope to have it, because, we kind of believe that your intentions are critical in this field.
All right.
So how did that lead to you forming a group and going on your first investigation?
I'll field this. I think what happened is we took the class twice, and by the second time we took the class, we felt like we needed to soar a little bit more, and we wanted a little more independence, and we didn't want to just have a teacher telling us what to do. We wanted to get deeper into it. And Kevin actually encouraged us to definitely do that. And we started looking at meetup groups and just other investigations around. And we started talking to just friends and family who has stuff going on, and people just started inviting us around, and we started getting our own equipment and just heading out into the community, really.
Yeah. So, what investigation did you guys, ladies, do first when you came together? Where did you start off?
Well, during the class, it had 2 or 3 investigations embedded in the class. And so Kevin took us to the Exchange Building in Ogden. We did that twice.
For our very first investigation.
Very first investigation was the...
It was fantastic.
It was.
And it's a shame that building is going to be torn down soon, if it hasn't been already.
I wish they had stopped tearing down all the good locations.
Yeah.
Really?
And then we went to the Hutchins Museum in Lehigh a couple of times. And then we did a private home for during one of the class investigations. So that's how we got started with the...
Sorry, we're just making sure all the microphones are working correctly. So,
and those are the investigations that we started with.
So that's where you started building. So where does that leave you today?
Unfortunately, we've had more people back out on us than we've had go through with it. We've had 3 that you got right to it, and they went, you know what? Are you going to stir up it and make it worse? And we're going, we have no way of knowing that.
There's possibility, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. And so we had 3 that backed out.
and it's actually good that they decided to back out before you go out there and invest all your time.
Exactly.
So I want to know more about you guys. I want to know, what kind of a team are you? How do you conduct yourself on an investigation? What's your approach and what's your standpoint?
Okay, or Liz, whoever.
So, first of all, we want to, when it is a home investigation, our first is to be open-minded about everyone's beliefs.
Right.
Because for us, it's more about being accepting of all the possibilities out there instead of being closed-minded. So we just want to go in there with an open mind. And then being respectful as well as professional. That's extremely important to us. Not jumping at every little thing going, oh, there's a ghost.
Oh, that takes all the fun out of it, though. Come on.
Sometimes I feel, for me personally, I feel like I can be a buzzkill sometimes when we go on big group investigations. Somebody be like, we saw some videos sometime like, oh, look at that amazing orb. And I said, well, do you see how dusty it is down there? And that's what it could be. And trying to first, with any type of evidence we get, we always try to first go through and debunk it and make sure that there's no other possibilities, because it's important to us. I think that's part of our investigation technique too, is to find the real root of it and not just immediately go, oh, that's a ghost.
And so because of that, when we do approach an investigation, we will always interview the client first and go through all of that kind of stuff just to find out what their history is. We'll try to dig up history on the location as well if we can get those city records. Sometimes that's not easy. So we try to do our homework before we actually even enter the house, and we let the clients definitely know what we're about, what our strategies are, give them the choices if they want to be there part of the investigation or not, especially if something seems to be attached to a person. And we'll just sit down and have a conversation before we even start any investigating. So the investigating tends to be the second step.
Right.
We get to know the client first, for sure.
So what kind of questions do you ask, in your preliminary interview with a residential investigation? What are some of the questions that you would be asking of them?
Well, sometimes you do have to get a little personal. We'll ask just basic, just family history questions, and sometimes you have to get into the medical. Is there, a history of schizophrenia or any kind of mental health issues, or maybe drug or alcohol use? That stuff can sometimes be a factor affecting someone's life that we need to consider.
Megan ask those questions.
Yeah, I'm forced
She's a tough
to.
cookie.
Yeah. I try to be tactful and nice, and we have had situations where I have had to ask those questions, and people will just very eloquently dive around those questions completely and not answer them. And, we can't force them to, but it will kind of tip us off to know, like, something is going on there. They don't want to talk about it, but there is something going on there. We'll ask about their beliefs also. It's important for us to know what they believe. So we will ask, what their religious preferences are, if they have them. We will even ask them, if we do find something, do you want us to do any kind of ceremony, anything to help, if there is a spirit, to help them move on. We ask them to share their experiences with us first and foremost, so we can get a feel for what they're going through and whether they're actually okay with that activity or if they're not okay with that activity.
Okay, very
On
good.
one of our second home case, the woman said to us, if it's my grandmother, I'm not sure I want her gone. Because she'd brought her grandmother's furniture into her house.
Right.
And so, that's a question that the homeowner has to live with after they make that decision. It's up to them.
Are you finding that a lot of times, too, those type of people are only wanting validation? That, there is something going on in their house as opposed to the cheese is slid off the cracker?
I think they weren't. The question hadn't come to her mind. We asked questions like, "What have you brought into the house in the last 6 months? Is there something? Did you go to a foreign country? Did you bring something home from an antique store? Things like that." And all of a sudden, she said, "You know what? We just brought my grandmother's old
Ashes
antique furniture
also.
and the ashes." That's right. So we got
Gee,
so it
not a catalyst
could be
at
your
all.
grandmother.
Yeah, the ashes would be a big,
Yeah.
big.
Dead giveaway. No
So
pun
she-
intended.
Yeah, she didn't know that.
One of the things I like to recommend too is, you guys are new, but it sounds like you really have your layout of how to handle it from beginning to end. One of the things I'd recommend to you to do, though, is actually do 2 interview processes prior to the investigation. The reason why is I like to do one away from the home in a neutral environment. You do your interview with them there. Then you can kind of see their personality, how they conduct themselves, and then do the second one inside the home and see if their personality is actually different when they're home compared to when they're outside of the house.
That's a great idea.
And that'll kind
great
of give you a little bit of indication of, is it attached to them or is it attached to the house? Because it can only affect them if they're in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing I would just throw out there for a recommendation to
That's
try.
right. One thing we started doing was sending a preliminary email questionnaire that they could fill out, take as much time as they needed to fill out those answers. And that kind of helped us. Then we'd go to the site and then just go over some of the spots that we weren't quite sure of. So,
Right. Now, you're the one who does the majority of the interviews?
Yes.
Sorry, I had to roll my eyes.
That's
What
okay.
was your name again?
Megan.
Megan. Now, tell me if you don't find it the same way I used to when I did a lot of interviews. Is it more their body actions than what they're actually saying to you that you're reading?
It's definitely both. I definitely have an advantage being a teacher and working with teenagers, so
Yeah.
I know how to read body language really well.
I know you're lying. I know it.
Yes, exactly. So I know when I'm getting
Detector going off.
I absolutely know when I'm getting a load of BS. But yeah, you can tell when questions make people uncomfortable, for sure,
Right.
and how to just steer away from those topics. I try to be sensitive, though, to the questions I'm asking, because sometimes they are hard questions, but I absolutely will read body language. You can tell when someone's just even nervous talking about it. We've had friends that got, like Roberta said earlier, that have gotten to the point where they would like to do an investigation, and then they back out the last minute. Even just talking to them, you can feel their nervous energy. You can
Right.
see it. They're, fingers tapping, their legs shaking. Just even talking about it makes them nervous, and you can see that it puts them in an uncomfortable situation. So we know now, we just drop it with them, and we're not going to go there again with them. So.
Right. Eye contact for me was one of the biggest ones. Can you look me in the eyes? Because if you can't look me in the eyes to answer the question, you're probably not giving me the straight story. Also, the way they compose themselves. If they sit there hunched over and all relaxed, you know that they're okay. But if they're locked solid like a log of wood and you couldn't move them if you wanted to, then they're tense, they're tight, and they're probably scared. So I always learned that just reading the body is really important to interviewing somebody and knowing more about them. Now, do you have psyche sensitive abilities? Are you strictly equipment?
We were talking about that on the way over, and I am, in the group, I'm called the brave one, but I am the most skeptic.
Okay.
And, I'll go into the dark hallway, the basement of the Exchange building by myself on our first investigation, and they all freaked out.
Sounds like somebody we know, doesn't it?
But then again, I knew that down that hallway, Kevin was down there, the teacher. So I knew that somewhere. But anyway, so I'm kind of the skeptic feeling. I think of all of us, my sister Marion is kind of, if any of us have a sensitivity, it's probably Marion. How do you feel about that, Liz and Megan? I don't know. How do you feel about that, Marion?
Yeah, Marion. I mean,
She put you on the spot.
yeah, she put you on the spot. So we're on to you now. So what kind of feelings do you get?
I certainly am not what you would call a medium or a psychic or even what some people term a sensitive, but I do think that I am a little bit sensitive in terms of my five senses, and I do like to use my intuition. Personally, I feel that in addition to the scientific method, I think it's really good to include intuition and those types of non-physical.
Yeah, your body is
extra,
definitely a piece of equipment or a tool to use.
Right, in your investigations. And personally, I mean, I don't speak for everyone in the team because we don't agree on everything, and we're okay with that because we like having that diversity. But personally, I would love to have a medium investigate with us, because I am just really open to that. Now, when it comes to our investigations, and I try to use the equipment appropriately and the scientific method and so on, and try to be skeptical and be and try to debunk everything. And I have a hard time believing, okay, am I really hearing somebody say something? And, is this really happening? Are they really communicating with us right now? I'm skeptical of that. But in terms of the overall idea of, okay, do ghosts exist? I am not skeptical about that because every fiber of my intuition tells me that they do. I'm totally convinced that they do.
Yeah.
I don't have proof, no, but my intuition tells me that it's real, and a lot of other things are real too. We have our physical reality that we have here on Earth and our non-physical reality, and I'm just so open to a lot of non-physical reality phenomenon.
Yeah, you skimmed across proof, and that's just it. Nobody anywhere is really going to have proof.
Right.
I don't care if you're an investigator for 30 years or for 10 minutes. Nobody is going to have proof because nobody is going to take it as proof. I've said it a few times in the past. You could have the best photo, the best EVP, the best video footage of a ghost walking right up to you and shaking
Someone's
your
going
hand
to debunk it.
and
somehow.
telling you the story, and they're going to give you 15 different reasons why that's not real.
Right.
So for me, it's not so much proving it.
Right.
I believe the four of us, has had enough experiences to know that there's something out there and it takes place, and we've experienced it to some degree ourselves. Just knowing it is gives you an indication of, okay, I can help. I do recognize this is here, so I can understand what somebody's saying when they're explaining it to me. You know, that's the biggest part for me.
Yeah, I agree.
So, now, going with your equipment, what kind of equipment do you usually use on an investigation?
You know, we
I
have.
have my own little names for him.
Yeah.
I want the yellow.
So you must be the techie.
That doodad thingy that lights
Yeah.
up and blinks. Will you get that for me?
I do call myself the tech expert only because I've, gone overboard the last 2 years buying things.
Yeah,
She's
been there.
really our team
can
mom,
never have
let's be
enough.
honest.
Yeah, I am the
She's
team mom, and Megan knows whenever there's Mother's Day, birthday, Christmas, I go, oh, let's see, it's really hard, but maybe a gift certificate to the Ghost Stop or the Ghost Hunter store.
Oh my God! Will you be my mom? Will you be my best mom?
Yeah, I think Kevin's going to want to join your team right now.
Yeah. Sign me up.
We've had so we have the normal. A couple of us have digital cameras, and a couple of us have audio recorders. We have a 360. We have a full spectrum camera. We have a ghost box. I just recently bought now I can't remember the name of it. The bag that you put the ghost box in. Is it a Faraday bag? I can't remember. I bought it.
That sounds right. Yes.
Okay, and we haven't used that yet, so I'm not sure how that is.
The grid, did you say that?
Typical laser grid.
Yeah, the laser grid,
Flashlights.
flashlights. What else, girls?
We have a motion detector.
Yeah, we have motion detectors now.
Have you had do you guys use walkies at all?
We don't have that yet,
Okay.
but we've talked about it a couple of times.
Have you had your motion detector just kind of going off just by itself for no reason?
We actually haven't. We just it's
one
pretty
of the
new.
newest pieces of
Yeah.
equipment we haven't used.
Is
So
it?
we haven't used it
Okay.
yet.
Just,
Except
just for a little heads up for you guys, we've experienced this ourselves.
They do go off.
Walkies, we'll set them off. You don't even have to be anywhere near it. I mean, you could be on the other side of the location. Somebody calls over a walkie, it could actually set off some motion detectors.
okay.
Gives you a false positive. So
Now, is that when the walkies are just dormant on, or when you press the button?
it's when you're actually
When
communicating.
you're communicating. So you
Right.
can leave them on, but okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So who's the reviewer?
I am, and whoever has taken, like, if whoever takes their own pictures, they do their own reviewers. And
I have a digital
Liz
voice
has
recorder that
yeah, voice
I'll
recorder.
go through and review, and then
Yeah.
when we think we found something, we'll get
Yeah.
together and kind of review all the pieces.
Yeah.
And kind
We
of
all review.
Yeah.
Speaking of audio, we do have a file from you guys. I want you guys to kind of lead me into this. So
Okay,
so
this
we know
is
what
this is from a private residence of I can't go into whose it is, but it was on the news, and we broke up into Liz. You were in the living room,
Yeah, I think it's.
and Marion.
I don't
was
know
in
how far, but I asked a question,
Yeah,
and then
The
You heard
history
something?
on this place, though, again, we can't go into too much detail, so the person can remain anonymous. But he had lots of struggles and issues himself. I believe he was he a schizophrenic, and so we went in with a very skeptical attitude. And the history on this area where he lived. It was actually where a serial killer resided also and took many of their victims and stuff. And so, we were looking forward to seeing if we could find anything, but since we knew this person's history, we were like, well, we're not sure. But we were surprised to actually get something.
So
when it
maybe
did
the
come
voices that
through.
he was hearing were actual voices.
Legit, yeah, absolutely. I think that probably helped confirm like some stuff. Like, am I going crazy or not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's unlike the voices you hear in your episodes.
My voices are funny though. They're not scary.
They crack you up
Yeah, they tell me to do dumb stuff.
And he does it.
very well.
So, all right. Well, my computer's lagging a little bit here. How long ago was this done? This investigation?
like a year
or
ago.
so ago. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it this other way then, since my computer doesn't want to behave. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, and then hopefully it's loud enough for you guys to be able to hear it. And yeah, we'll talk about it. How long ago was this? Hold on a sec. I do that every time. All right. Nobody's in chat, so I'm shutting that one down. There we go. Back up. All right. See, it's haunted. It's trying to play by itself. I tell it stop, and it starts to go. All right, let's try this again.
Can you show off to Kevin now? Show him what you were doing for us.
That was it. Wow. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
That was a definite no.
Yeah, that was,
Or it'd
I
be
think, a
even better if
classic.
you could do something else.
Yeah, it was pretty blunt.
Do you lower the temperature in here?
It's like, do it again.
Marion
No.
found it.
Good job. So everybody was accounted for. You know for a fact nobody was shifting or making any kind of goofy noises.
We try we're very diligent about marking anything, any
Okay.
type of sound, stomach growling, we'll mark it. I mean, we just
Isn't it amazing how much
Licking your
how
teeth.
much noise your body makes when you're trying to be quiet?
I was going to say, what is it about quiet time and everybody's stomach starts going?
Just the digestion.
When we,
I really want to know this.
I know,
because that's-
when we got the 360,
Uh-huh.
oh my goodness, that was an eye opener. It's just like, what was that? Well, I burped, but I thought I opened. You know?
But I thought
That
it was
is
funny.
nothing
My
compared to Josh's
stomach
little
growled.
joke.
Oh yeah, we had a former investigator that worked with us, and we were on this. It was a residential, but it really wasn't a serious case. It was more of an ant and
Exploratory.
training type thing, I guess you could say. Oh, yeah. And me and him were upstairs in one of the bedrooms, had hardwood flooring, okay? And we had bass set up in the room directly underneath of us where they were listening to us and, monitoring the cameras. Well, the former investigator let one rip. Not just once, but a few times.
Everybody in the house thought it was a demon.
Yeah, and the problem is everybody down in the basement could hear it because it was just echoing right through the floor, and he was sitting on the floor, and so
Did he tag it?
He called it an AEP.
yeah, no, we ended up making up a nickname for it. And it was called
EAP.
EAP, electronic. No, it was an EAP, electronic ass phenomenon. So. It's like I said, it's amazing what the body will do.
Well,
when
that's
you're
not
trying to be
the.
quiet.
There's another one. There was a public investigation at the Fear Factory, and Josh had served chili to everyone before the investigation.
That was at the asylum.
Yeah,
the
the
asylum.
asylum. So I just want to tell everybody that because that was a very active night.
Yeah, you'd be surprised at the stuff that happens.
in more ways than one. So you're not cooking the menu for Saturday, right?
I didn't cook the menu for that night, but I like the idea. No,
Make a note, don't have the
yeah,
chili.
Don't eat chili.
yeah, go with garlic burgers. Yeah. So now, have you guys kind of worked around or with other teams? Have you been to any of the public meetups that you'd like to talk about? Because we're always interested in hearing what you like and what you don't like.
You want to tell them about the Stagecoach Inn?
the most recent one.
Yeah.
We've done.
Oh,
Which one?
okay, yeah. Oh boy, this is a good story.
She just changed 3 shades of red. So.
That's not.
We won't
Give
go
names.
into. We won't go into that, but
Yeah, don't
no,
give-
we do.
don't
We've
give names.
gone on a lot of team investigating, a lot of the meetups. I think that's probably the majority of our investigations right now.
Okay.
Say
Um,
we find some groups to be a little more, I don't know, valid, if that's the right word, reliable and valid more than other groups. Because we've tried to be we scrutinize our own practice a lot. And so I think we scrutinize other people's practices a lot also as a result. And we have just found that some people were like, well, you shouldn't have your camera set up there because anyone could go and play with that camera where it's at. It's in the middle of a room. It's not in a corner. And so we tend to, I don't want to say that we're really judgmental, but sometimes just by default we are, because we want to elevate ourselves to a better practice. But this last one that Liz is going to talk about, we did have a medium with us, and she definitely gave us our best inside joke now for our team, and
It was
she
the
gave us some
funnest
food for
investigation.
thought for sure. So
Well, yeah.
Now, where was this at?
It's this Stagecoach. It was Stagecoach Inn in Camp Floyd.
At Camp Floyd.
Oh, okay.
And we were really excited. I've been there in the day before, so I was excited to
Yeah.
get there at night, and
it's a fantastic place to investigate.
it really
Absolutely
is.
go.
It's a really great one.
Very active.
No, but I mean, we're not opposed to investigating with mediums, you know.
Right.
But again, like with everything else, and I'm just speaking personally for me, I'm very skeptical. I don't disbelieve the idea that there are people out there that are mediums. I just feel like there are a lot of people that claim to be something that they are not. So,
Now, with that being said, I just have to ask this one quick question.
okay.
Okay, mediums, okay, maybe not. You know, I could respect that, but do you think mediums are ever fed a bunch of bull? So what they're actually reading or picking up on is being, you know, they're talking about, and it's complete and utter bull, but it's because that's what they're being told.
Absolutely. I have a lot of experience with psychics and mediums. My family, I grew up with having a family psychic.
Uh-huh.
I started going, my parents sent me to when I was like 14. And she actually, the medium that my family went to, she actually taught me quite a lot, and she taught me how to harness if I wanted to ever try to tap into being more sensitive and my intuition. She taught me a lot about that. And I've asked her questions to put her on the spot just because I've known her for a couple decades now. And I've asked her, you know, like, where are you getting this information from? And she's like, well, sometimes it can be wrong, you know, like if you have someone that's with you, they can, just in life, you know, they can lie to you, you know, straight to your face the same way. You know, and you might think you're talking to, you know, a little girl, and it's really, you know, an old man that is feeding you a line of total BS. And so she would always warn, like, and in those cases, like, these are things that you can do to protect yourselves against spirits like that. You know, because she always believed, and she would always tell everyone in our family that we have guardians and, you know, guardian angels and spirits that are there to help us and protect us, just the same as in life. You sometimes have enemies there, too, and people that are your foe, too. So, it, you know, yeah.
Okay.
If you believe in that stuff and you're willing to give it a chance, absolutely, what you're getting could be absolutely a lie.
Yeah,
Sure.
and then you can't really blame the medium for that.
No, you can't.
You know.
And that's not what I base it on. I personally base mine on how much attention I think they're trying to get in the investigation.
Right.
Because I fully believe too that a spirit can lie to you.
Mhm.
It's not what I base mine on. It's just I feel like sometimes people just want attention, and so.
Yeah, we know a couple people like that, don't we, guys?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Granted.
there seems to be
Just a couple.
Two.
there definitely
Just two,
Just
and that's
two.
it.
Yep.
there definitely seems to be mediums though that they're just they feel more genuine than
Right.
others.
I
They
completely
absolutely
agree.
feel more genuine than others, and some, you know, will scare a whole group
Well, you know,
and just for the attention, you know.
you know
So,
how they
yeah.
say dogs can tell if you're a good person or not right as soon as you see them. I kind of feel that way with psychics. As soon as I meet them, I know, okay, I'm staying away from you.
Yeah.
So you guys were ladies were investigating with psychic at the Stagecoach Inn.
Yeah, sorry, I distracted
medium.
that.
A medium.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's so many titles there.
I
I
don't,
get them
I don't know the
confused.
difference. I can tell you.
In the middle.
Intuitive.
And I mean, it was really fascinating because we did some things we've never done before. Human pendulum was one of them. We like to explore different ways just to kind of get a feel for everything.
That sounds like an experiment for us. Human
a
pendulum.
human pendulum.
I
It was
am not
fascinating.
hanging upside down. Forget it.
You do that every night anyway, Josh.
Well, that's what they're
You basically, like, everyone stands in a circle and you stand in the middle and you have to have your feet together and you just sort of stand there as relaxed as you can be. You ask yes or no questions and it's
your feet are shoulder width apart.
shoulder width apart. That's right. A little bit apart. And then it pushes you one way or another for yes or no. I mean, it's
Liz was the first one to do it, and tell them what it felt like.
I don't. I think Marianne said she's.
You felt.
Well,
we both had different sensations.
Yeah.
You felt
Mine was okay. So when I went into it, I was like, it could or could not work, whatever. But I honestly tried to. I knew I was supposed to relax, but I kept my body stiff.
It's
to try
hard,
to
huh?
see. Well,
Relax.
I just kind of
Yeah, right.
I know, and then you're nervous, and this place kind of gave
Was
me
that
the creeps
almost
anyway.
Like a daring it, I dare you to
Yeah,
try
it
to
was
make
almost
me
like,
move.
you know what, this isn't going to be just
Yeah.
my body, like its natural sway. I wanted it to be,
A forceful.
So yeah, forceful. So you start out, what's your yes, and it will move you whatever direction. What's your no? So for me, the yes was forward, and back was no, is what it ended up being. And each question they asked, I really tried to like go back for no, just my I'm just going to go back to see if it will do it. But kid you not, I don't know what it was, but it was some sensation at my hips, and it was like almost pushing me forward. It was the weirdest thing I've ever felt. What it means, I don't know. It was just an interesting experiment and experience, I think.
Experimenting
Yeah.
is a huge part of investigating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Without pushing the boundaries, you're just going to be stuck in the same spot.
yeah,
So
Well, and we all strive to learn and grow. So you've got to be able to think outside the box, and that's wonderful that you guys are able to implement new ideas, new ways of investigating that aren't your standard everyday run of the mill. Hold a recorder, take pictures.
yeah. Well, for us, it's just another method to learn and grow.
So what became the inside joke?
Well, so
ahead.
we went through every. I feel bad. We went through because I don't want it to be like I'm mocking, but it was doing. So we all kind of took our turns, and it was Roberta's turn, and we're standing there, and so it's dark, and I don't know if you've been to the Stagecoach Inn, but it is kind of creepy in there. There's
It is.
it's a little creepy, and it's dark, and we're standing there, and it's so almost quiet, and it's just. Dead silent because you just one
No,
maybe
not
I
at
think the pun
all.
was intended with you.
Maybe a little.
Even the dead are silent.
That's right. And literally out of nowhere, we're just all kind of like focusing on Roberta. Out of nowhere, the medium screams out. I don't think she said it first. She just said,
"Look
"Look out!" And I thought I think I lost about 10 years of my life at that moment. It was almost like somebody was attacking, and it was terrifying. And Megan and I just sort of like took a blame and scooted back. And here comes cute Mama Roberta, comes over and like hovers over us like a mama bird, and she was like just all of a sudden over us. And then the next thing we know, this woman said, "Ghost bullet." And we were like, "What? Are you kidding? I just had a heart attack." And I was just like,
"What's a ghost bullet? Is this some new phenomenon?"
I am intrigued. What is a ghost bullet? Google that right now.
Okay, that's what
Okay.
we wanted to know. What's a ghost bullet? And she just said, "Well, I saw a ghost standing there, and he had a gun, and he was going to shoot." We're like,
Because that's the only thing I could think to say.
Now, just out of curiosity,
Watch out,
what
ghost
room were you
bullet.
in?
The downstairs main
Downstairs main
area
room.
before you go into left to the dining room, or
It's
in
the
front of the two
addition in the
bedrooms.
back.
Oh, okay.
that has the two little bedrooms, one with
It
the
was
creepy
the house
cradle.
section.
Because there
where
is
they
that
always
bullet
live.
hole. In
It was not where the bullet hole was. No.
That I believe
Yeah.
is upstairs.
It's
It is.
upstairs.
It's upstairs above the gentleman's
Yeah.
area.
No,
so.
it wasn't. It was just in the downstairs where you enter.
It was just the way she said it and the way she reacted.
So now that's in the same room. You were in the main room.
The main room.
So that's the same place that you, Kevin, had your experience.
It is.
What
What
did
was
you
your
have, Kevin?
experience?
I had a spirit follow me home.
Wow.
And mess with me, my wife, and some of the roommates in my house for a few days. And it finally tapered off a little bit, but a lot of activity. Nothing really happened there, but it was afterward, that I had the activity. But So
That's very scary to me.
Well, I absolutely.
On the other hand,
yeah.
have you had any spirits?
I think we were all very nervous. You should have seen us our very first investigation.
We were a mess.
Oh my gosh, we were a mess. We totally were. We were terrified. And the Exchange building, I'm sure you guys have been there, but it's not in the nicest of neighborhoods.
No.
So that in itself is a little terrifying.
While it was still a haunted house too, so you have all the creep
All this
factor.
creep
All
Oh,
over.
yeah.
Stuff
Yeah,
up
that's
and-
always
You were
fun.
probably doing the fast 2-step through that
Yeah.
place.
So I know for me, we
We
got
were really huddled in the car. I'm not kidding. Huddled in the car with our little we said
Saint
a prayer.
Michael the
with our
Archangel.
We said a prayer.
medals.
We had our.
medals.
What else did
and
we have? We had a couple
crosses.
medals.
I think someone brought a rosary. and-
I during the class, I got them all crucifixes. In fact, it's right here. Crucifixes. And poor Liz, I mean, she's Christian, but, she's more spiritual.
Right.
And she was very polite and said, thank you.
Hey, you got to be polite.
And the rest
Nothing
of us
wrong
are
with
Catholic,
that.
but I just...
Well, I was
tell
holding
you-
on to that, and not only that, I was nervous about a ghost following me home because
Yes.
I was just all
There
sorts
was
of things.
Salt scattered.
I took not just salt, but I was like, I took kosher salt. I was like, listen, I'm going to hit every religious belief I possibly can. So whatever one works, something's going to work. I sprinkled it at my threshold.
I love how thorough you are.
I am like, whatever is going to work. I don't know if you guys have seen the Mummy, but I felt like the guy there that had all the necklaces.
And
Like,
all,
which one
yeah,
is it?
all the symbols.
That was me.
So do you guys have a ritual?
We went overboard because we're like, well, now nothing's happening.
Yeah, then nothing happened, and we're like, oh.
Well, if you want an investigation where nothing happens, just
Go
bring
with
me.
Josh.
Just take me along.
that's
Nothing will
That's
happen.
me. I think I scare
See,
ghosts away.
I'm not the only. They call me the paranormal deterrent.
And I think they come and look for me though.
My brother, I invited my brother to come, and he was just like, yeah, I don't want anything to happen. I don't care. But everything happened to him. I was so mad. I'm
He's
like,
like
I'm
our
the one that
cleansing
wants it.
agent right here.
Yeah,
We don't
just-
use sage. We use
Yeah, we
Josh.
use Josh.
Yeah. They tried to smoke me once, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah. I also think it's definitely the way that we approach it. I think we're all very strong personalities and strong women, and I know that we would all protect each other hugely. And I also think that we're so confident that, if a ghost did try to come and follow us home, that could happen, but. It doesn't scare me as much as I think it might you, Roberta, or someone else, because I'm just like, yeah, that ghost follows me. They have someone to deal with.
And do you
So.
think a lot of it has to do with the fear is what the ghost is?
Yeah, I
craving?
think sometimes they, I'm definitely not an expert at this, but I sometimes think weaker people that are more vulnerable to that stuff, yeah. Just like a bully would choose that kind of person in school to beat up on. You're a victim for a ghost that might be a bully in the afterlife. Absolutely.
With that being said, do you think that's why paranormal investigators have to work so much harder to come across their activity? Is because most of the time, at least from my team and my experience, you're not afraid when you're a paranormal investigator. You go in there, you got a job to do, and you're focused on doing your job. You don't really get scared. Is that why we have to work harder?
I wouldn't say we haven't been scared.
I get scared. I get scared.
But yes, I mean, that, you do think about the person, I want to help this. And that's how we kind of decided to do this is in the class when we were at the exchange building, there were 2 little kids there. And we thought, that's horrible.
Right.
That's horrible. And one was a current death, and one was way back in 1920. I don't remember. And it's just like that was horrible to us. And not to dwell on the stuff we don't know. I mean, we don't know.
Right.
We don't know why that is, and that bothered me because I have been Catholic all my life, and it bothered me to think.
Why did you get left
Why
behind?
Did a child
Get left
Get
in what
left behind.
we would consider purgatory.
Yeah, it's crazy to me, and so,
That right there, I believe, is a reason why a lot of the negative energies poses children. That exact reaction.
Okay, see.
Right. So if you have a negative energy, you pose as a child, you're going to get that emotional connection that, you're going to connect with that a whole lot more than you are just a random guy. You know, we did an event over at the Rio Grande last weekend. Yeah. And we had a psychic / medium do a channel session there. We actually posted the video on it. And one of the things that I remember is Kevin asked her while she was in her channel state, we believe we were talking to a guy named Mike, how did you avoid judgment, is what Kevin asked. And the response kind of dumbfounded me, but it was the most simplistic, type moment you could think of.
Really
I just didn't go.
Is that kind of like skipping court, you know?
That's
Because
why
you
they
think it's
don't
gonna be
cross
something
over.
grand.
Sometimes they're afraid to face the judgment. That's what some people believe.
Yeah, but according to this one, it wasn't a matter of being afraid. It wasn't afraid of it. It just didn't
Yeah,
wanna
it
go.
was. As the person doing the channeling had stated, on behalf of the spirit, was that was his choice. He chose not to go.
And he
It
liked
wasn't
it there.
because he
you
was
know.
afraid, because he said he liked his job at the Rio Grande train station.
He liked it there. Was his
So-
exact response.
I mean, and we go into it with a lot of skepticism as well. But the undisputable fact is there was no pause whatsoever in her replies to the questions being asked. And the questions, we're still working on the history and trying to validate all the information that she actually was able to give us. But it just came at such a rapid pace. I mean, there was no pause. And we asked the pertinent questions that would be able, to allow us to try to determine who this person was. So.
And if any of you guys are Facebook junkies, yeah.
No.
Just
I don't know what's wrong with
I
it.
won't. Well, yeah, I'm a teacher. I don't want my kids to find me.
Oh, there you go.
well,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
don't want to be found.
My teacher is crazy.
Just-
Look at this picture.
just log in under an alter ego. You're okay.
They
Well,
still will find me. They're crazy.
We have a video that you guys can look at, and it's about that session. You can kind of see our questioning and our answers and everything else above that, and kind of see what we were asking and kind of understand why we were trying to ask the questions, is because we wanted to go back through the history and verify it.
Oh, look how cute she is.
And
She's
so
like a sweet little lady. I love that picture.
She is. She is very sweet.
she is very, very nice, and in fact, she's the one who enlightened us to. When you're on a paranormal investigation, this is what we learned from our.
That's
It's
good.
if you ever hear like a thump at a door or something, it's because the ghost hasn't quite figured out how to pass through things, so just running into the door. So next time you hear that, just think that in your mind.
It's called the learning curve.
Yeah.
We believe that there's a learning curve after you pass.
You may hear, ouch, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, some take longer to learn than others.
That is true.
Some just don't figure it out.
So who everybody, like, there's such a influence from TV and stuff like that. Do you guys look up to any particular team, local team, or
Us,
a
of
TV
course.
show, or
You guys.
TIpa.
I think it
Come
would be
on,
TIpa would be the answer.
that's the
I
best
like her.
answer? Yeah,
I
that's
like
the best
her.
answer I've ever heard all night.
I do. My favorite is Dead Files, and I just think Amy Allen is the most awesome medium I've ever seen. And I like the investigator Steve too. I think it's a very interesting way to investigate, because they don't really ghost hunt. They just have
The reading.
investigation.
They do the research
I mean,
behind
if you-
it. Yeah.
That's a real medium there. I mean, that's real.
Well, when she said
That's my
that,
opinion.
when she said that about the family tree, they just need to level this place. The owners of the family tree didn't really appreciate that.
Well, and not
But-
only that, we've talked about that same scenario.
Right.
I would hate to be the demise of a family's income, their personal family history, because it's been passed down, from mother to daughter to daughter. So, I would hate to have that responsibility on my shoulders to tell, someone, well, you should burn this thing to the ground, and I'm like going, really?
Have you
I
have you
can
seen that
see
episode?
her, learning as she goes along too. you know, because she does things some differently now than she did at first, and I think she's learning as she goes along too.
Oh yeah,
Well, we
well,
all
and
do,
we
yeah.
all do. You know, if you ever expect to improve yourself, your skills, your abilities, and I don't care whether it's paranormal or, you know, whether you're some law professor, you know, if you don't benefit by learning and growing, you know, what's the sense? Start, you know, throwing the dirt on you because you're done.
Yeah. Now we're kind of running down to our last few minutes here. How can some people contact you if they want to get in touch with you, either to learn more or to have you come out and do an investigation for them?
I'm the contact, and my email is roberta.lopez@utah.edu.
Okay.
So email, and should I give out my phone number?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's 801-561-9817. And you'll probably have to leave a message on that one. So.
Yeah, no spam. No,
Please,
no
no,
junk.
no
So
sales
you-
calls. Thank
Do
you.
you have a website that they could like maybe?
No,
see
we're too
some
new.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yes, they
We're
do. It's
big.
on
We've only been here-
There you go.
TIpaResearch.com.
Yes.
There you go. Now you have
Look for us on
access.
there.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
So-
Did you hear my technical skills? We don't know.
Hey, she's over here typing her first text.
We have a link somewhere. No, the link on the TIPA site that this show and some of their future evidence that they're going to send me.
Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
It's TIPAResearch.com/PAL, PAL. You can go there and kind of read more about them, look at a couple other things, and you'll also be able to hear the show afterwards. So try that out. And, you know, do you guys have any last-minute questions for us? Do you guys kind of curious about who we are and what gives us the right to ask you any questions?
Who are you? No, we were actually, all of us have heard of TIPA, and
We got online and checked you
Yeah.
out.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's a good thing I took down those other sites. So.
Yeah.
Those pictures were fantastic.
Well, we really do appreciate you guys coming in tonight. Did it go quicker than you thought it would?
absolutely.
Actually, yeah.
Thanks for having us.
I told you it
Thank you.
would. So
And you're more than welcome to come join us on any of our events.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we would love to.
Yeah,
thank
we're
you.
Santa Quinn Saturday night.
Family Tree, which
Yep.
is the Dead Files episode.
Okay, so we've been there once, and we need to go back.
been
we
there
we
a few
live
times.
there. That's our part-time home.
I just got
We
a
never got anything.
a question.
Well,
Did I
think
ever
it was
get
the
anything?
group we were with, to be honest. but-
Let me see if I could find this for you before we go. There was one EVP that completely floored me, and if I could find it, nope, that's the Devil's Playground. Wrong location. Let's see.
Anyway, while we're waiting for him to find that, we also have Camp Floyd, 21st of next month. So they're both posted on both the TIPA site and our Paranormal Chaos site as well.
Yeah,
And
so
if we ever get up and going and do our own meetups, you guys can come join us too. hopefully.
Excellent.
You know what?
We'd love
That's
to.
probably like the 5-year plan, though.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we'll go one step further and we'll actually offer to do a live broadcast from your meetup. So,
There you
Oh,
go.
look at that. That'd be
'cause
great.
not a lot of people can actually join the meetup, but a lot of people wish they could. So, yeah, we'll do that for you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyway, my computer's acting spawonky, I guess you could say.
Spelunky.
There was
New word
one
of the
thing that
day.
happened there at the family tree. And, oh yeah, you guys were noticing my backdrop, huh? That was the stagecoach.
I just discovered Deep South Paranormal, that show. I was looking at that.
Yeah.
That show is a riot.
They've been on the show a couple of times,
Have they
actually.
really?
Yeah.
They're a hoot.
Also, the folks from Ghost Mine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Seen
Yeah.
Ghost Mine.
Yeah, we've had them on the show a couple of times as well. In fact, somebody's working on getting them back. Hopefully soon. So, since it's taken forever, my computer kind of is having issues. There was a session that me and one other person had where we were down in the basement, and it was just me and him. And our K2s were jumping around, going nuts, and, you know, we're kind of doing whatnot. And we went through a line of questioning, and it got to a point where it was trying to tell us that, well, we thought it was trying to tell us that there was a kid upstairs in the kitchen that needed help. So we called over to a couple of our other team members that were upstairs already to go into the kitchen and start doing what they do. And I guess once they got in the kitchen, they started setting up. All of a sudden, they heard this demonic laugh right behind one of them, Tess. It was so loud and so pronounced, she dropped her audio recorder on the counter
And ran.
out of the kitchen.
And
Yeah.
she's rock solid, so that kind of in itself shocks me. So
The other investigator started just yelling for me and Brett. You guys got to get up here, you know. And we actually did catch that laugh, but that's not what I'm going to show you. We left the audio recorder running in the basement when we went upstairs to see what the hell he was calling us for. And while nobody was downstairs, nobody was anywhere near that area, you might be able to hear us talking from the kitchen, but we're so far away, you could tell that there's a difference. But we caught this one sentence that just completely floored us. And as soon as my computer decides to pick it up, I should have restarted
where's
it before
the
the show.
Jeopardy theme?
I closed that. I used it once, and that was enough. But we showed this. Here it is. Maybe.
Sing us into the Jeopardy theme.
Here it goes.
Can you guys hear that?
Orange blood.
Yeah.
There's a real valid reason.
Okay, so what happened is we talked to the owner about it. Now, do you guys know much about the history of the basement there?
They told us a little bit, but I can't remember all of it.
Okay, there's two things that were distinct that they used to use that basement for. One was an illegal gambling area. I think it was mostly dice games. The other one was like a underground fight club. And so one of the things we immediately started thinking of was when they use iodine on cuts, it looks like orange blood.
That's right.
And we actually had Corey, one of the co-owners of the family tree, call in on the show a couple weeks afterwards, and she had talked with her grandma who owned it when they were using it for the fight club, and she said that the boxers always wore one of two color shorts for the fights down there, either blue or orange. So it could have either been that the boxer was cut and they put iodine on it, or it could have been the boxer in orange had blood in his eye or something. So these are all speculations and theories, but you can tell that's pretty pronounced.
Yeah, you can
Nobody down there, and all of a sudden, orange blood. What?
No,
So, and there was a laughter not too far past that where you could hear that laugh that makes you go, really? But it wasn't as pronounced. So yeah, we've caught a couple things there.
That's great. Yeah, no, I think we would all love to investigate that one again because it just didn't turn out how we were.
It's hard when you're with a huge group because
Yeah,
there tends to
that's-
be like
And
cross
you know,
contamination.
it's like I notice with the four of you, the energy there. You can tell that there's a positive, strong energy between the four of you. You know, and sometimes at some of these public meetups, there's that one person that kind of disrupts, or those few people that disrupts that energy that kind of brings things through and makes things happen.
So I tell you what, if you want to book an investigation there and you want to keep it confined and small, let us know. We'd be happy to go with you. We're really good friends with Bobby. We've actually broadcast a couple shows from there before, so we work really well together out there, and we'd be happy to help you. We also have a full DVR system, so if you guys want to have cameras ran throughout, we'd be happy to bring
I
that.
think you're our new best friends.
I don't think they've seen our trailer yet. So.
No.
Oh, we saw it.
Oh,
We saw it.
no, inside.
Oh,
Yeah, you
we
don't
just got
know.
a preview.
Yeah.
You've been gathering equipment for a long time then.
It is customized. It has two 20-inch monitors, one 50-inch monitor, 8-channel DVR system, surround sound. It's completely a mobile base.
And
we were told before we got into this that it's a very expensive hobby.
It can be.
Unless you just kind of leech off Kevin here, he'll hook you up with anything you need. So.
Our ghost sugar daddy.
Ghost sugar daddy.
You could always go the cheapo way, you know, string hanging from the ceiling, candles.
Marble on us.
Marble on a string. You can't go
And now you
wrong
guys
with
know about
marble,
human
so.
pendulums. So
Yeah, see, I was
That's
picturing
free.
you
I
had
was
somebody hanging upside down.
There you go.
I actually, that really is interesting to me. I would love to see that or experience that myself. You know,
What, me hanging upside down on a
yeah, you hanging upside down.
An investigation with you guys. We'll definitely show you how that works.
All right.
It's pretty cool.
Well, we would be happy to. We'd even be happy to maybe film some of it. So people like to see it in action. So
Just contact me, Roberta. You know me, so
well,
you just give me a jingle and let me know where you want to go. We'll get you there. And
also you guys,
do a live show.
You guys are connected to this through Eva. Is that correct?
Right.
All
I,
right.
You know, I think, you know what? I think I met Eva at Leslie's Family Tree Restaurant.
that wouldn't surprise me. That's
a
kind of
year
like
or
our
so.
home away from home. One of our very favorite places to investigate.
Yeah, we're also setting up some more events as well. But if you guys want a small, secluded type thing with a couple of people, we'd be happy to help you guys out.
Certainly.
Yeah, we have our camera guru behind you, Zach, who really knows how to work a camera and just kind of make sure he captures what is really relevant happening around there as well. So,
And we have our ghost repellent too, for those of you that want to get scared.
But-
we'll send Josh to stand by.
but if your camera breaks, I know how to fix it.
There you go.
Okay.
So there's a perk.
If you don't know how to use our audio recorder, I can teach you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, that's good. We always need something like that.
Well, that's what TIPA originally stood for, was Technical Investigations of Paranormal Activity. But I wasn't trying to be a team when I formed it. I did not want to be a team. I wanted to provide technical support for other local groups. A couple of them took me up on it. The rest of them thought they were better. And then they're no longer around, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
Go figure. So, yeah, we'll just put that out. Once again, I want to thank you guys all for coming out and talking
Very
with us.
much.
And
Thanks for having the opportunity. Huge.
I think we need to drag you guys out here for a Thursday night show. So, Eva, if you're listening, Terry Lee, let's get you booked for a Thursday night show. We'll
Yeah,
get you
we'd
to bring,
love to see some of your evidence.
get you to bring some of those EVPs you guys were talking about, and we can sit there, go through them, maybe talk a little bit more about them.
Yeah, I wish we brought the bells ringing and stuff.
Well, there's a reason. See, there's a reason for everything. You didn't bring it, so we can get you back.
There you go. Gives us
So-
another opportunity.
And with that being said, once again, I want to thank all our listeners for logging in, tuning in. Thank you, Terry Lee. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Want you all to have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow night for Helling After Dark with Ghost Wolf J. And then Thursday night, we have a very, very cool show. It's near-death experiences.
Yep.
We have two people who have actually been through that. One of them's been through it twice. And so we're going to be talking with them a little bit more and kind of seeing what they experienced when they were clinically dead. So tune in Thursday night for Points of Interest from 7 to 9. I'm Josh.
I'm Terry Lee.
Kevin.
And have a good night. Bye-bye.